There hasn't been a product that I've used that has generated more questions and more interest than this ShiftPod Mini tent that I've had for about a year and a half now. And I've bought this and used it on many trips in a variety of weather situations. And today, in this video, I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. Plus, I'm out here with some cool friends and we're going to do a quick walk around camp and just say hello. First, though, let's set up this tent. Now, in this bag is the ShiftPod Mini that I purchased about a year and a half ago. And honestly, I wasn't sure how I would feel about this tent. But I knew I wanted a good quality ground tent that was going to be easy to set up, easy to break down, and hold up in the weather. And well, so far, this has some pros and cons that I really think are worth talking about. And then I'll get this set up and then we'll walk around and kind of introduce you to everybody I'm camping with today. We had a great day out on the trail and now we found this beautiful, beautiful camp spot. And I know Marco's with me. He's going to cook up some chow. We got some other special friends with us. But first, let's talk about this big bag. So you can see that this comes in a massive canvas bag. So that's one thing that you have to take into consideration is, you know, a lot of ground tents come pretty compact. They're pretty small and easy to tuck away. This is big and bulky. This is good if you want to throw it on a roof rack. If you want to throw it in the back of your vehicle and you're able to lay the seat down, that works for you. But for me, what seems to be working really well is going side to side in the door. From in the back seat of the Jeep and the back seat of the Bronco, it fits side to side with the door closed. So that actually works out really well for me. Now this bag is held up pretty good. My only concern is one of the zippers did break. And so there is only one good zipper left. But otherwise it's okay. The bag, I wish it was just a hair bigger because getting it in and out sometimes can be a tight fit. So first thing I usually do is throw down a tarp. Now this is just a standard ground tarp and it doesn't come with the tent. And the reason I use this is the bottom of the ShiftPod Mini is kind of a pretty thick fabric, but I don't think it's water resistant. And there's been a few times where I've had this out in the rain, just having one, just some general protection so I'm not tearing that up. Two, if it gets wet and moisture under there, it'll stay dry. But three, actually what I found is sometimes, you know, you're in some dirt or mud and it makes putting it away the tent much easier when you start with a clean surface. And I'll tell you, this area right here is nice and sandy. Going to be extremely comfortable tonight. This is the perfect ground tent ground to be sleeping on tonight. All right, with our ground tarp laid out, I'm going to pull the tent out of here and you're going to see, again, this is pretty bulky, but it is extremely easy to set up. There's only 4 sides on this and you basically just fold it out. And I'm looking for the door, which is over here, so I'm going to pivot this around because I want the door to be facing that way. Lay that out flat like that. And now it's just a matter of popping the walls, which is super easy. Grab the little strap in here, pull that one out, come around the other side. Pull that one out. You see how this is going? Super easy, guys. Okay, with all 4 walls up, then we're going to go ahead and pop up the roof. And there is 2 zippers here, and I'll tell you that one of these zippers is broke. So you have one zipper for the main door, which has a nice little exit sign on there. And then you have another zipper for the screen, which has a nice little mesh here, and you can fold this up and secure that there. Usually I just leave it open, but to pop up the top, all you do is reach in here, press up just like that, and your ShiftPod Mini is ready to go. Now there is a rain fly included, and there's some straps and some tie downs, and depending on the weather situation will determine whether or not I use that stuff. I think tonight I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of wind, so we should be okay, and there hasn't been rain here in weeks, so that's not going to be a problem either. So all right, what I'm going to do is get all my gear in here, and then what do you say we walk around camp and say hello to everybody? All right, the tent's all set up, got my gear in there, and we will talk more on some of the specs and features and how I feel about it. But what do you say we walk around camp and check out everybody that's here? Of course, we got Josh.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Good.
And this is Christian from Canada.
Way down, way up
down.
from Canada, eh?
He's up here visiting with us and having a good time. I hope having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I put words in your mouth.
Just running our normal trips, delivering maple syrup.
Well, we got some for breakfast, I hope?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I delivered it all.
No,
All
the
right,
last
all right.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Josh has got his Gladiator with his Alucab, which we have done a full review of this in the past, and it is a great vehicle. However, there's been a couple new additions, Josh.
There have.
What are these big things right here?
These are 40-inch tires.
40-inch tires.
Yeah.
Because the ones you had before just weren't big enough.
Well, yeah. I mean, they just weren't big enough, and you know, you had to match those to the new big axles we threw under there. So
You got Dynatrack. You got a Pro Rock 44 in the front and a 60 in the rear. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Yeah, buddy. That's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, how's it drive so far?
So far, so good. This is only the second time off road, and just trying to fine tune some of the little things. But yeah, love it so far.
You look good out on the trail today. So there you go, guys. Down below will be a link if you have not seen the review on that, but just a couple updates on there. And I am driving the 4xe. This is only my second time out on the trail with the 4xe, and I am learning more and more about this vehicle every time I'm out, and I am liking it more and more. I really like it. Now, I did put some 35s on there, so those are some BFG KO2 35s, but otherwise, stock suspension for now. I did add a winch and some KC lights just on the stock bumper, but we will talk more about the 4xe. I gotta learn more about it, guys, but so far, I'm loving it. And Marco is here, and he is getting set up because he's going to be cooking chow. He's got the Patriot Campers trailer. He's got the Scottle out. And the stove. Oh, wait. Is that chimichurri?
Chimichurri.
Dude, it's whatever we're having tonight, because it's got chimichurri in it, is going to be
awesome.
great. Oh my gosh, buddy, I'm so excited. How was the day today?
It was fun.
Yeah.
You know, we took it easy.
Yeah.
We weren't out there looking for a camping spot. We went Diablo drop off. We had fun. It was really relaxing.
I'm so glad we were able to show these guys our backyard. I mean, they drove all the way from Canada to come visit with us.
Absolutely.
So it's been awesome. How's the 392 holding up?
Oh, dude, I love it.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Just listen to it rumble today. Made everybody smile, so that's awesome. Oh, there's a hummingbird. Did you guys see it? Check it out. You don't see many of those out in the desert. Look at that. Oh, cool. And many of you guys may know this fella. This is Sean.
Hi.
From Story Till Now.
I'm
Buddy.
also from Canada.
Also from Canada.
Yeah.
What do you think about our backyard here on
Super
Zabrigo?
awesome down here, man. And the terrain is amazing. The temperature, the weather. I'm wearing a t-shirt in February, and back home it's raining, it's cold, it's miserable, and we wanted to get down south, so who else are we going to call?
Well, man, I'm so glad you guys came out here. It's been fun showing you guys around today. Any standouts today that you enjoyed?
Man, the Slot Canyon was really nice.
Sandstone Canyon is one of my favorite spots out here. It's just every time we have visitors come, we got to show them. So we just love that place. Can we take a look at there's two gladiators that they brought with them. Can we take a look at these really quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is Christian's.
Yep.
And this is the Mojave.
Yeah, this is Mojave. It's supercharged.
Of course.
Yeah, it's got a big, fluffy werewolf on the side. His name's Fluffy.
That makes it faster too, right?
That adds at least plus 10 horsepower.
Plus 10 horsepower. Okay.
So
I like it.
And he's done a custom setup here with the tire mount on the Diamondback tonneau cover.
Okay.
So added these here, I believe.
Yeah, that's nice. He was telling me he was trying to keep this kind of lightweight and lean and mean, and I think he's done a good job.
Low and fast.
Yeah, low and fast.
Yeah.
And he's using a little swag here, huh?
Yeah, this is a Darsh.
Yeah.
I think it's almost a queen size.
Yeah, so there's a
bed in there.
full-blown mattress in there.
Yeah.
He's set up pretty quick. I think I probably got him beat, though, with the ShiftPod. I'll bet I set up a little bit faster than him.
And to be honest, if you launch this from a space shuttle and it crash landed here, I don't think you're going to make it. But in the space pod,
That's right.
you're gonna be fine,
I'm ready
man.
to go land on an alien planet with that thing. Okay, and this is your famous rig, which I have watched many videos of you just getting after it up there in Canada, man. If you guys have not seen the story till now, first of all, what are you doing? Go over there and subscribe to his channel. But they get after it and they have a lot of fun up there in Canada. Talk us through a little bit about your setup.
All right, so it's just a standard gasoline Jeep Gladiator with 3.6, but we just supercharged it as well. So we've got the 2 supercharged Gladiators.
And you're liking that?
Yeah, it just makes it, adding all the weight with all the gear for overlanding, it was getting a little sluggish.
Okay.
Put the supercharger in, and now it just feels like it's stock. It feels like you don't have any weight on it.
All right.
You go up hills, it doesn't even notice the hills.
Nice.
It's great. It's fast. So it's got a 4.5-inch lift.
Okay.
Terraflex lift with the Falcon remote adjustable shocks.
Okay.
So we got the adjustment inside for shock firmness.
Yeah.
On the back, we've got RSI Smart Cap,
Yeah.
and we've used their bin here to do a custom Red Arc.
I
setup.
love those smart caps. Those are stainless steel.
It's stainless steel, and we got the one that has no windows.
Oh, okay. Good. Nice.
So it's my main thought was security for on the road when you're in parking lots and stuff, and not being able to break windows.
And man, you've got the full Red Arc,
Yeah, the
Red Vision. You've got the whole thing up here, man.
We got a 200 amp hour lithium battery from Discover Battery, 2,000 watt inverter, and then if we need power away from the truck, we've also got the Jackery 1000, which is charging from the Red Arc system, and then full charging setup for drone batteries, camera batteries, chainsaw batteries.
That's a dream power management system right there, man. Very, very
Yeah,
nice.
when you're filming and editing and on the road, it's what you need, right?
Now, let me ask you. I mean, it doesn't look. It looks like you wax this thing every week and it doesn't go off road.
Yeah, this is
often.
actually a wrap. It's a custom wrap. It's designed to make it look like it's scratched. Actually, underneath, it's beautiful. If you're thinking of buying this in the future when I someday sell it.
Yeah.
No, in BC, we call it BC pinstriping.
Yeah.
It's we're driving through a lot of tight bushes. A lot of the places that we like to go are places that are difficult to get to, overgrown old mining roads and stuff like that. We like to have some real adventure. So we got to really push it through, and
And you got the Rhino rack up there.
yeah, we got the Rhino Rack Pioneer platform with some Zargus cases for gear. Got some recovery gear up there, some cooking gear on the other side,
Okay.
and the Max Tracks mounted up there as well.
iCamper tent. You pretty happy with that?
Yep, this is the SkyCamp Mini.
Okay.
I've been using this for about a year and a half now, and
Okay.
it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So it sets up and tears down in less than a minute, which is, we're always moving around. So
Oh no, it's about being efficient, right?
whatever you can do to make things faster that's what I'm all about.
100%.
Of course, the snorkel for crossing water.
Yeah. Which you guys have a lot of, so that's
Yep.
not just not for show. You actually use
It's
that.
actually the first modification that we did on the Gladiator
Is that
when
right?
I got it. It
Okay.
was before we lifted or anything. It was snorkel.
I got to ask that because it's just staring me in the face. What's going on top of the intercooler here? What's this all about?
Oh, this is my Night Rider scanner.
That's functional, right?
This is something we actually added just for this trip. It's for scanning.
That's awesome. It's the coolest feature.
Yeah, so we're actually going to go out to a dry lake bed and film some funny stuff. So we had to add that. I'm a huge Night Rider fan as well.
Well, awesome. Well, man, thanks for coming out here. I know it was a haul to get down here with us, but we're honored to have you guys in our backyard for this trip. And,
We're honored to be out here with you.
Yeah, so thanks for taking a look at, let us take a look at your truck. And Marco's going to be cooking up dinner soon, which you are going to really enjoy.
I'm pretty excited.
Marco was already in the thick of cooking up dinner. With a little help from Josh, he roasted up some savory vegetables, seasoned and seared up some beef in some butter, constantly keeping it marinated in the pan juices. And this beef is going to be topped with that delicious chimichurri sauce when it's all finished. It smelled and tasted amazing. We had a great meal at camp, and it was a great night hanging around the campfire, swapping adventure stories.
I still see it driving around.
It has been a beautiful morning out here in the desert. I mean, I can't believe it's February and it's this warm. It's been perfect. I've had lots of coffee this morning and we've been hanging out, and Marco made the chilaquiles for breakfast, which was delicious. So it's just been a great trip. Now I know this is a little bit of a different type of product review because we've been talking about hanging out at camp and the people we're with, but you know, I wanted to share the experience that we're having out here. And now we're going to dive into the technical specs of the tent, and I'll talk about how I feel about it, what I think, you know, is it really worth as much money as it costs. But before we do that, I want to take just one more moment and share with you some really exciting stuff that we've got going over at E3 Overland. We've been working hard over the last year and a half, building a great community over there, and this year we're stepping it up a notch. So we've got some new online courses coming. We've got some new meetups across the country. We've got an app in development that's going to be on your phone. Plus, we're going to be doing the 3rd annual Grand Canyon Without the Crowds event. This has been such amazing events over the last 2 years, and we're going to do it again this year. Plus, we've got the online magazine and discounts for members. So if you have not checked out E3 Overland, I will leave a link down below. I invite you to go check it out and join up. It would be great to see you out at one of those events. All right, let's go sit down and let's talk about some of the specs about the ShiftPod tent. So I showed you yesterday when we arrived at camp just how easy it is to set up the ShiftPod, and I can do it in just under a minute if I'm really quick. But the total footprint of this tent is 6 feet by 6 feet, and it's 5 feet 3 inches tall inside. Now, I'm 6'2", so how does that work? I was actually worried when I bought the tent. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna fit. I'm gonna have to sleep with my knees bent. But actually, if you sleep corner to corner, there is tons of room. In fact, my sons are all over 6 feet tall, and we have slept inside here together, 2 of us. I wouldn't put more than 2 people in here. And if we sleep corner to corner, there's plenty of leg room for us, and there's plenty of room on the corners for our gear, you know, our bags and our clothes and whatnot. And so there is actually lots of room inside this tent. And the 5 feet 3 inches is nice because you're able to get in there and get dressed. You've got room to kind of stand up. You know, you can't do that in a rooftop tent. The one thing I really think is unique about this tent is this UV reflective fabric that they've got on the outside. I think that's what attracts people to be so intrigued about this tent. And so the fabric on here it's like this thermal layer. So there's like almost a little bit of insulation in there. And they say this does reflect a little bit of heat, so it should stay a little bit cooler inside the tent. I'll tell you, on a hot day, it's hot in there anyway, so it's not dramatic, but there's probably a little bit of a difference. Inside the tent, everything is white. And I really like that because if you turn a light on there, it kind of reflects off of the walls and it's easy to see. So it's really nice in that regard. All the poles on here that you use to open and close it, they are very sturdy. The fabric and those poles make it nice and taut. And in windy conditions, we've got a little wind right now, but last night at about 5 in the morning, the wind was howling through here. I could hear it, but the tent was totally stable. There was no fabric flapping around. I didn't have the rain fly on, so if I had the rain fly on, there probably would have been a little bit of that. But it was completely quiet and stable. And so I've had this tent in several windy conditions. In fact, there was a time I was out in Death Valley and it just came howling through there, and it was like 40-mile-an-hour winds, and it was like just late afternoon. I grabbed my chair, I grabbed a book, I grabbed my drink, and I just went inside and sat in the tent. It's a great place to get it out of the weather, so it's solid. Now, I've had this in the rain a few times, and only for about 3 or 4 hours, not like torrential downpour for an entire night. And I didn't use the rain fly, and it did not leak on me, so that is really nice. Boy, this wind is kicking up right now as I'm talking, so hopefully it's not messing with the audio too much. I really think the outside of this tent is very unique and solid, and I like the fabric. There are 4 windows on each side, plus there's 2 vents. So the great thing about those 2 vents is they're covered and you're gonna always have some ventilation there. I haven't experienced a whole lot of condensation issues inside the tent, but I usually crack some of these windows just a little bit more so I can have some ventilation. One thing about a tent, especially when you're camping in the winter, when you're inside the tent, you've got the body heat going on and it's cool outside, it's pretty typical to get condensation in there. So having some good ventilation will keep that down. Even getting a small USB fan or something like that, that sounds weird in the winter, but just to keep air circulating just a little bit will keep condensation down. But it hasn't been a big issue with this tent. There's only been a couple times when it was like below 20 degrees where I actually experienced some condensation in there. But the outside of the tent has been holding up well. All the seams are, they're very strong. And again, I've had this tent for a year and a half now, and I'll bet I've spent well over 30 nights total in this tent, and opening and closing it, and just, hard use, it's been great. Now there is a nice wide valance that goes all the way around the edge of the tent, and that's nice to have because if you want to step out of the tent and not into the dirt or the sand, you can use that as a place to kind of put your shoes on. It works really well. Plus you can stake it down on all four corners. But in a heavy weather situation, and there are high winds, you can use the straps and tie downs and just pull these taut on each corner. I haven't had to do that, but if I was ever in a pretty severe storm situation, that's actually a pretty good way to go. And I did mention that there's a rain fly for this guy. I've never used it, but I think if I was in a situation where it was going to rain for an entire night or an entire day, I would probably use that. So I like a lot of things about this tent. Now, I bought this tent, and this is not a sponsored video. I have no affiliation with ShiftPod, but I think I paid just under $400 when I bought this tent. Now, the prices have gone up over the last year and a half, and I think they have a newer model that's coming out that's about $699, and a lot of people asking me, is it worth that much? For years and years, I had a ground tent that was just my backpack tent, and it was a small, compact tent, but it wasn't as nice as this by far. In fact, in windy situations, it was straight up awful. There was no sleeping because the fabric would just flap around, and I have spent many comfortable nights in this tent, and to get a good night's rest, it's tough to put a price on that. And so I think spending $400, $500, $600 for a tent like this, that's one, easy to set up and easy to break down, which we'll break it down here in a minute, I'll show you. I think it's worth the investment. There's pros and cons to having a ground tent versus a rooftop tent, but I'm pretty happy with this, and I think I'll be using this quite a bit more. I mean, this weighs 31 pounds total. It does take up that space in the back seat of my vehicle, but I'm not putting 150 pounds on the roof. I like rooftop tents, and I think they're a great asset because, again, they're easy to set up and break down. They're convenient. You can keep all your sleeping gear in there, especially if you're on a long trip or something like that. They're very nice to have. I have the rooftop tent on the trailer, and that's going to stay there. But I think when I'm out on trips like this, where it's just me by myself with my buddies, this fits the bill pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. And if you have pets, trying to get a dog up in a rooftop tent, that can be a challenge. This is a great option. You could definitely allow your dog to kind of hang out there and sleep with you overnight. So there's a lot of pros to this tent. I am pretty happy with it. Okay, just a couple other small details before I break this down. One, there is a small access hole in the wall that you can use to run cables, maybe for power, or if you're using a diesel heater that has a small vent, this is a perfect little place to do that. Also, the seams on this tent have held up very, very well, far exceeding what I thought they would with all the abuse I've given them. I'm very impressed with all these seams. And the last thing I forgot to mention is the floor is removable. There is a zipper that wraps all the way around the floor, so if you'd like to use this tent without the floor, it is an option. Okay, time to put this away. You just do everything you did to set it up in reverse. Basically press down on the roof, press in on all four walls, and it's a good idea to leave a couple of the windows open so air can escape as the tent is kind of slowly collapsing on itself. Then just carefully fold the tent in half and bring in the two sides, and then roll it up, squeeze it up a bit, and as I mentioned, it's a tight fit in this bag. I do wish the bag was just a little bit bigger. So there you have it. There is my review of the ShiftPod Mini tent. And look, I think it's a great tent, and it's one that I'm going to continue to use. We'll see how long it lasts. A year and a half, and it's still going strong. We've had a great time out here in the desert hanging out with all these amazing people, and I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with us and checking out all the cool vehicles and just spending a little bit of time at camp with us. If you got more questions about the ShiftPod Mini, leave them down in the description below, and be sure to check out E3 Overland. Thanks for watching, guys.